Hey everybody, happy May. It's Matt Farnham here, leader of Team Farnham at Crown Point Realty in Las Vegas. Wanted to give you a housing market update here. We're at the end of May 2020. We are finally seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for this COVID-19 season. Things are slowly starting to get back to normal. I know some parts of the country are getting back to normal quicker than others. Talk about that in a minute, but hope you've had a wonderful May. Great Memorial Day weekend last weekend. May's always a busy month for my family. We have a lot of birthdays. My wife's birthday is actually tomorrow. So happy birthday, Leslie. I love you, baby. My birthday was this month. My little guy, Colton. Of course, we had Mother's Day. So always a busy May in my family. Hope it's been great for you. The Last Dance with the Bulls and Michael Jordan was incredible. It was something everybody that is obsessed with sports was able to enjoy. So not sure if you and your family watched that, but if not, I encourage you to watch it. It was really interesting perspective on that last championship season they had. So I love that. And last for sports is get excited. Hockey announced the playoff plan. The Golden Knights are in the Stanley Cup playoffs again. So here we go. Can't wait to see this unfold and hopefully kick off soon. And go Knights, go. So anyways, let's get right into what's happening in our market right now. I will mention that I did just recently last week do a live with Team Farnham post that we did on Instagram and Facebook, where I had a conversation with three good friends of mine, an insurance broker, title and escrow, and then also the mortgage lender we work with a lot, to get their insights and perspective of what's happening. So I encourage you to go back to Facebook or Instagram. About a week ago, look for that conversation. They all three shared a lot of great insights. So check that out. So quick stats, many markets around the country right now, home prices are going up. It's multiple offers, inventory's down. Vegas is a little bit of an anomaly right now for a lot of the metros and what we're seeing. So let me share what we're seeing right now. Our median house price dropped over the last month from $319,000 last month, and now it's at $310,000. My opinion is, in the midst of a pandemic, Las Vegas unemployment, Nevada unemployment is off the charts, as you all know watching this. So in the midst of all that, and considering in light of all that, I would say down to 310 is actually very understandable and not too bad at all. So that's currently our median price. We saw 1,971 closings over the last month in single family homes. So the home closings has dropped 31% year over year. Just to give you perspective on this year compared to last year at the same time, 31% less homes have closed. Again, understandably so in the midst of a world pandemic. We are now at 3.1 months of effective single family inventory on the market. So if no more homes got listed in the next 3.1 months, that's how long it would take for us to sell all the existing single family inventory. If you look at the condos and townhome market here in Vegas, that's 4 months of inventory. So total effective inventory for all product types, probably about 3.3 months of inventory on the market. Still a seller's market by definition, but we went from 1.8 to about 3.3 in a span of about 60 days. So we got there pretty quick. So it definitely feels more like a level market than a seller's market, but still a really strong market right now. I will share this. This is really interesting. So for the last number of weeks, we have seen homes coming on the market or back on the market, coming back on market or new to the market about twice the rate as homes going pending. And then for the last probably 3 or 4 weeks, we saw about 20% more homes each week. Every single day I would check this last 7 days worth of activity, and about 20% more homes coming on the market or back on the market than we saw go pending, which is obviously why we've had inventory grow. Today, for the first time in the last probably 60 days, I checked in the 7-day numbers, we actually had 32 more homes go pending than came on the market or back on market in the last 7 days. So hallelujah. That is fantastic to see. Inventory, at least in the last 7 days, has stabilized. So I think that's super encouraging. I will tell you firsthand what my team is feeling. Buyer activity has absolutely picked up. Just today alone, last few days, I've spoken with many buyers that are looking for plans to either sell and buy or relocate to Las Vegas. We've gotten a lot of referrals last couple of days of friends and family and agents across the country that have sent us folks that want to talk about buying here in Vegas. So it is picking back up. That's great to see. I will also include below a link to that showing activity report that I've included in the last couple updates. And if you look at that, just to share some numbers from that, since April 12th, we've actually had 6 weeks of strong, obvious growth in showing activity, which is really encouraging, especially noting that buyers are looking at probably fewer homes per purchase than normal, less looky-loos. They're not looking at homes for fun. They're only looking at homes for the most part that they're very serious about potentially writing an offer on and purchasing. So that's really encouraging. And then the last week or so, that's really leveled off on showings. But we did see 6 weeks of straight growth, which makes sense considering how many are pending versus came on the market. So all good signs there. Right now, my team for showing homes, for owner-occupied homes for a number of weeks there, we were requiring offers on the home before we would allow you to view the home, just to protect our sellers and to completely eliminate all looky-loo traffic and tire kickers. Now with our owner-occupied homes, we're just moving towards, send me a pre-approval letter before you see the home. Not nearly as strict, but still very reasonable to eliminate just that looky-loo traffic. And then vacant homes obviously are much easier to get in and out of right now and practice social distancing and so forth. So listings, we're meeting with people. Yesterday I had a listing appointment with a wonderful family, and we had a great conversation. I went in there, we kept our distance. They opened all the doors and closets and gave me a tour of the home, and I was able to go through that whole couple hour meeting with them without really touching anything except maybe the card table we were sitting at. So we can definitely practice social distancing, be productive, and have these conversations, or we do it digitally if we need to as well. So life is going on, and everybody's adjusting to new norms, which is really encouraging to see. Mortgage rates, I'll share that real quick. Historic lows, talking with our mortgage partner we work with all the time, Evergreen Home Loans. Mortgage rates are actually the lowest. Freddie Mac is reporting this, the lowest they've reported in 5 decades of reporting data that they look at. The U.S. rate, the average U.S. rate is for a 30-year fixed mortgage is at a 5-decade low. I personally just refinanced a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. It's all mixed together, but 3.375 on a 30-year fixed. Had a client just last week lock in at 3.0. So that is just incredible opportunity to refinance or purchase a home right now. So keep that in mind. I will include a link below for a Housing Wire article related to this Freddie Mac update. So you can see that for yourself. Trying to rapid fire here so it doesn't go on too long. Economic recovery, let's talk about that. So I follow a blog called Keeping Current Matters, puts out some really good content about market activity, both housing, economic related, and so forth. According to their blog, and I'll post a graphic below, but according to the latest Wall Street Journal Economic Forecasting Survey, which polls more than 60 economists on a monthly basis, they reported that 85.3% believe a recovery will begin in the second half of 2020. The graph, I believe it was about 65% of them actually predicted third quarter of 2020, and the balance of that 83% was fourth quarter of 2020. So super encouraging to see that much optimism in the economy moving forward. So you'll see that graph below. Another article I was reading quoting a lot of economists, pretty much, a variety of opinions, but the pretty consistent opinion was, as far as the economy is concerned, we're probably going to see a U-shaped recovery, maybe even a kind of a wide U-shaped recovery overall for the economy. But most all agree that the real estate market, housing market, will probably lead that recovery. In and of itself, the housing market will probably see more of a sharp V-shaped recovery as people are back to work, and that pent-up demand will start to come through for buying and selling homes. As far as what's happening here in Las Vegas, to report with COVID-19, 31 days. So Governor Sisolak just a couple days ago came out with an announcement for the state. Some of the stats he shared was 31 days of a downward trend for the positivity rate test that they do. So that's encouraging to see. Also 35-day downward trend for COVID hospitalizations. So, the curve is flattened. The social distancing has obviously been effective here in Nevada. However, it has not been without its cost for, the economy here. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Most businesses here in Vegas, restaurants, establishments, most have reopened, many of which have limitations, maybe up to 50% of their fire code capacity, which is understandable. Social distancing, of course, strict guidelines like that are still expected and conditioned for those companies. Large gatherings like sporting events, churches, houses of worship are limited to a max of 50 people right now. So hopefully we see that change very soon. Just side note, personal opinion, that doesn't make any sense to me. You can sit in a movie theater and be at 50% capacity, but a church is limited to 50 people. So I'm trying to figure that one out, but hopefully there's an update on that soon from the governor. Roadmap to recovery chart is attached. So from Sisolak's announcement, there's a roadmap to recovery chart where it kind of shows different colors of what's open, what's not in phase 2. So you'll see that if you haven't already seen it all over the internet, but just wanted to include it as a reference. And then, of course, here locally, one thing that we have to talk about here is unemployment. So Nevada in February actually was its lowest unemployment, all-time low at 3.6% unemployment in February. And as you probably all know watching this video, we are now over 30% in Nevada for unemployment. So quite a drastic change just since February. We know a lot of people are going to get back to work here this week, next week, and then probably over the next few weeks or couple months. So that's super encouraging. But we also don't have our heads buried in the sand that the service industry is not going to just get back to normal overnight. It's going to be a ramp up period for sure as people need to travel to Vegas. Companies are holding conventions here, things of this nature to bring more people here. So it's going to be interesting to see how Vegas is a bit different than the rest of the country as far as getting right back to work. And then that'll, lead to what does housing supply look like versus demand if people aren't working. But just seeing how this week is already kind of flattened out on inventory, I think we have a huge demand coming in from California. We already knew that, but also these very dense cities in the Midwest or East Coast. There's an expectation that many of those folks are going to want to transition to the West. Vegas, obviously, high on the list up there with Phoenix and a few other places. But, we'll just have to keep an eye on that in the next couple of months, how many people get back to work. But I am optimistic to think that our housing market is going to hold very steady. So, again, we talked about how that inventory is picked up for buyer activity. So all things considered, market strong, interest rates are low. If you're listing your home right now, we'll absolutely sell your home, but we can't overprice it. You got to price it right. Buyers understand that it's still low inventory, but because of how quickly we changed, they are wanting to negotiate a little bit. We are getting questions thinking that they might be able to get a little bit of a deal right now, which is not the case. But that's not the time to overprice your home. So we got to price it at market value, market it correctly, and we'll do great. If you're a buyer, it's a great time right now, a little bit less competition than there was a couple months ago. So a much better chance of getting the home you actually love at the price that, is fair. Maybe even get a little bit of concessions now that you couldn't have got a couple months ago. And of course, at an incredibly low rate. But again, like I've been saying for the last few months, whatever it is you're comfortable with, if it's buying now, great. We'll guide you through that. If it's selling, we'll guide you through that. If it's waiting, no problem. You got to do what's right for you and your family right now. And we'll guide you through whatever it is that you're needing help with or comfortable with right now. So anyways, rapid fire here. Hopefully that was helpful for you to understand what's happening. Share this content with anybody that is curious about the Las Vegas market. My team always loves to hear from you. So give us a shout, shoot us an email, whatever, and let us know how we can help you. And I hope you guys have a great kickoff to the summer. It is hot. I think it's 109 degrees today that I'm filming this. So jump in the pool if you have one. If not, go find one. Jump in the lake and cool off. And hopefully we'll hear from you guys soon. Take care, and we'll see you next time. See ya.